Welcome to the highlight show for Ultimate Pool Champions League Group 1. It's the return of the Champions League for the third time. Chris Melling won in year 1 and he is in action tonight and will be the group favourite. Luke Gilbert was an Ultimate Pool professional last year that impressed. Gary Clarke and Cleeve Thompson are making their Ultimate Pool Pro debuts. On to our first match then, and it is Luke Gilbert taking on Gary Clarke. The opening 2 frames were shared. We join Luke Gilbert with the break in frame 3.
And if you're taking it to, some of the world's best players as a young player, that tells you a lot about their mentality.
And it is a game where it is very, very difficult to dominate as a youngster. We see it a lot in Q Sports that the old guard have a really annoying habit of sticking around, and quite a few of the best in the world are well into their 30s, some in their 40s, some even further beyond. Think of Ronan McCarthy, but what it does mean, happily for Luke Gilbert, he's got a long, long time in the game should he wish, and already this good at this age. Plenty of bright sparks on the horizon for him. Yeah,
and he touched on it a little bit in his interview that I had with him a little bit earlier, that maybe a year ago it would have, that cannon's not worked out for him. Playing some of the legends like Chris Melling, like he'll have tonight, he may not have taken the opportunities in the same way that he does now, but there's no fear factor for him out there anymore. He's just playing the game, he's playing the table, and doesn't really care who he's up against. And whilst that sounds easy, it really isn't.
No, no, it is not.
Highlighted by the fact that he was handed a tough draw in the Pro Cup qualifiers, got Liam Dunster first round in the qualifying competition, and was able to come through that fairly comfortably in the end. A brilliant performance to beat Liam.
Yeah, that was a real welcome to Ultimate Pool, Liam, wasn't it?
Yeah, and to be honest, we're talking about the qualifying, and this is a key shot for Luke. Let him play this first, and I'll make my point. Can he land on the red? He needs to bounce.
That's a great effort.
Oh, he's a couple of rolls short of perfect. Can he just see enough to take it top right?
I think he can. Tough part, but if he makes it, he takes out a really tidy visit. 8-ball waiting. Brilliant. Heart of the pocket from Lightning Luke. He will strip into a 2-1 lead. 2 on the spin for Gilbert. Super stuff.
Every mistake is really magnified at this level. And a dry break to follow for Gary as well.
Yeah, we quite often see, think back to last year's competition, how often do we see entire nights, when you look back at them as a player, as an observer, you can go, oh, well, this was the point, that one missed pot in match 2. If it had gone the other way, he sends himself through, and of course it's all if, buts and maybes, but sometimes as well in this game you don't get the chance to actually go and win.
Yeah, especially in these group formats, it can come down to one error here or there. It's we're nitpicking, but Gary makes the counter clearance in frame 1, and then the positional error in frame 2 stops him from going 2-0 up, and he ends up going 2-1 behind. He'll be pleased that he gets to the table in this frame though, and that is an excellent shot to power that in and develop the most awkward yellow on the table.
Yeah, some shot that.
Hasn't landed perfectly on the next yellow though, so needs another good shot to build on the first. They can clip this yellow back, maybe catching the red and losing control of the cue ball. Even if he doesn't, the cue ball's running loose. Yeah, he actually killed it very quickly, probably more so than he thought he could, but he's okay. You can see the one to the top right. Delicate if he wants to drop it in dead weight and hold on the one at the top. That is really delicate and probably isn't worth the risk. No, you see that way too much angle.
Well, he'll take that as a result though.
Yeah, that's a perfect couple of kisses. That is landed really nicely for him. The only thing I would say is the yellow by the 8-ball isn't for me the perfect last ball, because you need a good angle on it to get nicely on the 8-ball, or the cue ball could be doing some mileage. But it still highly likely to be the last ball, although he's a little bit thinner now to hold on the one into the middle pocket. A shot ago, he was absolutely perfect. Got that last one a little bit wrong. The problem is, the reason I don't like the yellow by the 8 ball's last ball is that the red in the middle of the table plays as a big blocker, because that's kind of where you'd like to be on it. And he's looking at leaving the cue ball to the right-hand side, which means the cue ball's going left. He has to avoid the reds and get back across the right-hand side of the table. This positional shot is not guaranteed, and that is thinner than ideal. He needed to be a good few inches off the cushion, almost level with the yellow, so he could screw it across one cushion. Now he can't avoid the yellow, the reds rather. Getting on the 8 ball here is very tough.
And into the 15-second shot clock part of the match, we'll go after this shot as well. Is he on it?
15-second shot clock in play.
He is not.
He tried hard to really dig that one and avoid the reds, but he just couldn't get there.
Okay then, what have you got for us, Gary? Oh, he wasn't a million miles off that, you know.
Yeah, and the 8 ball going there just gives him a...
Yeah, gives him a shout.
Yeah, just a little bit of equity in this frame. Not much, but he's still big second favourite. Not absolutely certain here for Luke. Luke may still go here. He wants to play the red in the open, off the 8 ball, just to ping open that pocket for the red. This is the key shot. Easy to catch this a little thick. And that's why he played it cushion first into the 8 ball. And now it's wide open for him. Still 4 balls away from winning the frame, but this has been a good performance from Luke, having missed that ball in the opening frame.
Yeah, I think that all comes down to the experience that he's gained over the last couple of years. He's been with Ultimate Pool since the beginning. And as he quite rightly said, nothing faces him anymore. Really level-headed individual. And he is a danger to anyone he comes up against. And Gary Clarke is in trouble.
Gary Clarke did pull one back in the next with a quick finish, but it was too little too late as Luke Gilbert was able to run the clock out for a 3-2 victory. On to our second match, and group favourite Chris Melling takes on new professional Cleeve Thompson. And it was Chris Melling that won an opening frame after Cleeve missed a good opportunity. Cleeve now has the break in frame 2.
Okay.
Cleeve didn't have the white ball there, but he gets away with it and he gets himself a good chance here.
Yeah, this is when you've made the mistake, you know, and yeah, we could talk about him being a little bit unlucky with a safety shot, but he made the error with the first opportunity in the opening frame. This is exactly what you want in frame 2 to get going again. This is a lovely opportunity for a break clearance. It really is. Maybe the hardest shot he has to play here is the positional shot, and that has landed very nicely indeed. Everything goes, nothing to break out, just plot your way around, and it's not particularly difficult to do that here. Could get rid of the one to the bottom left, but if he's straight in on the one to the right centre, I think I'd rather drop that in and play on the one to the left centre, but you can make an argument both ways. Nothing wrong with getting rid of this one first. The only thing I would think is I would have rather played the red to right centre, the top of those two, rather than the bottom of those two. Okay, he's going to leave the one down the bottom cushion to last. There's nothing wrong with that either. Connects to the 8 ball really nicely. He's picked a good route here. Clear mind of what he wanted to do and controlled the cue ball well.
Yeah, and something he will need as an Ultimate Pool Pro is to be able to play at a fair lick. And Cleeve Thompson cracks those off in next to no time. Oh, you mentioned that middle pocket can come into play on the Chris Melling break. It has done. And as Chris will know better than just about anybody, if you don't get your chances, if you give chances away, you can get beaten by anybody. Doesn't matter how many world titles you've won, doesn't matter how good you are.
Yeah, I mean, in races to 4, he might not get the opportunities. And Chris changed his break there. He went for the screw break and completely mishit it. And look at this for a layout. That's an opportunity to go break clearance, reverse clearance, and start to take it to the 2 times world champ. This is very nice. Yeah, that's nice. I like that. Assuming the one below the 8 ball doesn't pass the one he's playing now. Get rid of this one first and you leave the other one there as your last ball. Reason for the slight hesitation, he's got a little bit more angle than he wanted. Yeah, and now he's having to come below that red. Now he has a little bit more angle than he wants again. Might have been better to play into the red. Can he slide by the 8 ball? Or is he going into it? He's going into it, and he missed the yellow because of it. Well, if he plays the cannon on the red and catches it full ball, it's a fairly big target, then he's perfect on the last yellow. But going the way he went, it was fine. He was just... I was taken off the pot to get the cannon right, and bad mistake that one from Cleeve.
Yeah, and he will very quickly learn, and he's a very intelligent man, he'll know this already, but he will learn the hard way that you make mistakes at this level and you get punished harshly.
Yeah, and we've already talked about it in these short matches. You know, one mistake can be the difference between winning and losing the whole night, let alone a match. And he's had first chance 3 times, and they've all been really good. The first one was slightly tricky, but the other 2 were wide open, and he's made 1 of the 3. So disappointment, an opportunity to be in front here of Chris Melling, and he's going to have to try and win this match from behind.
Chris Melling won the next as well to go 3-1 in front and is at the table at the end of a scrappy frame 5.
Oh, just.
Oh.
Chris and Cleeve share a little giggle. Just.
Well, Chris needs to make this, because if he doesn't, he may well leave Cleeve a chance to make it, and a golden break would still get the draw.
Oh, well, he misses.
Yeah, and he's going to get an opportunity for the... Hang on, he might run out of time here. Yeah, he's hit the cue ball too hard. It's not going to stop. He's not going to give himself a chance for a golden break. That's poor from Cleeve.
Oh, I'm gonna stick up a little bit for Cleeve here. I think the cue ball was still spinning. That's why he was annoyed that he couldn't play the shot.
You might be right, yeah.
Chris played that with so much power inside that the cue ball just carried on moving, and Cleeve Thompson couldn't play the shot until it was dead.
Cleeve Thompson is straight back in action, this time up against Gary Clarke, who is also in desperate need of a win. And it is Gary Clarke that has the break in the opening frame.
A very clever shot from Chris, and you know, being ultra critical, Cleeve could have just dropped it in and maybe had a second for the golden break, but that was very, very clever and entertaining to see that from Chris.
Well, initially when I saw him pot that, I mean, I'm sure plenty thought this at home might have thought that's, you know, a little bit showboaty from Chris, maybe a little bit disrespectful, but actually that was percentage pull. He played a good shot of the double, missed it, but he was able to play it in such a way that he's able to keep Cleeve off the shot for as long as necessary. It was brilliant Bit of quick thinking from Chris Melling.
It was, but I also think that was Chris having a little bit of fun out there as well, because Chris is such a good potter. If he tried to pot that to the top corner, he's going to make it. But I still enjoyed seeing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Bit of both. Bit of both.
He is an entertainer, that is for sure.
So then, do or die for Gary Clarke and Cleeve Thompson, both defeated already by Luke Gilbert and Chris Melling, respectively. Loser of this one exits the competition. Worth pointing out, though, with the Champions League, it is a ranking event, and with all these pros professionally ranked, difference between 4th and 3rd means there is still something to play for with every match tonight.
Good chance here for Cleeve to forget about what happened in the previous match. That one's gone, and get off to a good start here. Could have done with maybe a roll further to the right, but can he just force it to the left here? Yeah, he was okay. It's just the fact he took a few extra seconds on it. For me, he could have done with forcing that last one just a fraction more and played the one to the bottom left next. It would have saved having to do mileage on the cue ball here. And that mileage means he has come up short. Now he's actually in a little bit of trouble. It's one of those shots, the previous one, where you can afford to overhit it, but not underhit it. You had much more room going long. And that was speculative, but tried to make the double off the red. And Gary Clarke comes to the table, chance to counter clear. Very similar feel to his opening match against Luke Gilbert, where he did make the counter clearance. Tough opening match for Gary. Couple of mistakes in the match. Both of them positional errors.
Yeah, so far tonight has gone to form despite a couple of scares for both Luke and Chris. The two seasoned Ultimate Pool campaigners safely through in both their matches against the brand new wildcards. Gary's gone about these tidily.
Yeah, it's always a wide open table when your opponent misses last ball, but he has never been even half a roll out of perfect position.
Gary Clarke won the next 2 frames as well to move into a comfortable position. Cleeve Thompson has the break in frame 4.
Hasn't hit the break tonight in a way that suggests he might make a golden break, but maybe this is the one he'll get right. Well, he hit that one far better and gets kicked into the corner pocket.
Yeah.
That was his best break of the night.
How do you like those?
Yeah, maybe just come across that front ball just a shade. You saw the spin on the cue ball, but he still parked it in the middle of the table, and to be kicked into the corner is really unlucky. Decent chance for Gary just to take the drama out the match, round it out 4-0. Everything goes, everything's got a pocket. Red by the 8 ball is the tricky one, but it should be fairly easy to get good position on it. Red to bottom left, get short position into the right centre. Could have done with coming back a little bit further there, maybe. And then take the one he's next to and then play that, which I think is the plan, but now the cue ball becomes a slight issue. And that's okay. That's worked out really nicely. Yeah, he's moved the red that would have connected to one by the 8 ball, but not far enough to cause a problem. Just drop this in. And that's the perfect angle to play on that last ball.
He's been real focused in this match, Gary Clarke. Another very good visit to the table. And the Northern Irishman is still fighting in the Champions League.
On to the always pivotal fourth match. Luke Gilbert and Chris Melling both won their opening matches, and it was Chris that made the faster start here with a break clearance and reverse clearance to go 2-0 in front. Luke responded with a reverse clearance of his own and now has the break in frame 4.
Much better.
Whoa.
Much better. Would have been very unlucky to go in off there.
Yeah, he pinged those.
You see the difference with the cue ball. He flushed the white. Look at that. The cue, didn't come across it. The cue ball, the spots aren't spinning. He's not thrown side on by mistake. You know, he hit that so much better. And you can see the difference in the power of the split.
Oh, you can't miss your opening ball off a break like that, though. He was unfortunate in where he left the cue ball. It wasn't an easy opening pot, but it was a pot that he will feel he should have made.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been very unfortunate to go in off. But when he didn't go in off, that was a tricky opening ball and one that he then needed to work out one ball on the table. But a big disappointment there to miss that opening shot. Means Chris has to work out the problem, the obvious problem on the left-hand side. Does he have the angle to do it now? He was trying to get very close to the 8 ball to be able to do so, and I think he has. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it'll do.
Love to be straight enough on this so that he can just slide past the other yellow. It looks like the natural might be taking him close to the one in the middle of the table, or near the middle pocket. He was, which is why he's dug into it to come on and off the side cushion, and that is perfect.
It's one of the most fascinating things about this game, and it's why Chris is such a great proponent of it, is how much manipulation can be involved. You know, pockets are bigger than the balls, so the best players can work out so many different angles. What you can do is spin, what you can play around with angles off the rails, off the cushions. There are limitless possibilities. 8 ball in motion, 8 ball in motion, it stays on the table.
Oh, what about this for a layout? Oh.
This is a little bit scary for Chris, this layout here, but take a look at this break. This is a little bit of a hot topic at the Pro Cup at the back end of December. Let's have a watch of the reaction.
Love that.
Now, Chris is on record plenty of times as saying he not only hates the golden break, he hates the cut break. When his own hasn't been working for him, he's not afraid to use it.
Yeah, this actually, my first glance was this is going to be horrible. How do you work this out? Actually, there was an opportunity on reds, and there still arguably is an opportunity on reds. But the red on the left-hand side, which is probably the easiest one for him to pot now, he could pot the one he's nearest to as well. He wants to finish underneath that so he can play that to the top left off the 8 ball and ping the 8 ball open.
Yeah.
That's his plan. So his opening shot, he was hoping to develop the little cluster of 3 at the bottom, and he missed the cannon he was after.
And a rare missed pot from Chris Melling as well. That one was very tricky though, and he was also trying to play it as thick as possible. Just keep that cue ball nice and tight. Need to stay on the one over the middle pocket. Luke's going to play the combo.
Yeah, Luke really wanted to make both there, because now he can try and mess this top left corner up, slide this off, maybe even take the pocket that leaves a 3 ball plant. Yeah, that'll do nicely. Now he has an opportunity on yellows when he wants to go to play the 3 ball plant. That will ping everything open. He has to work out the ones at the bottom before he does that, if he gets back to the table, of course. But I'm not sure how Chris is going to go about the the balls he has left here now.
Well, we've been in this position before.
Yeah, never count him out, but this would be some effort, yeah. And that is possibly the worst place he could have left the cue ball, because he's left Luke on the one to the bottom right with an angle to develop the other one.
Yeah, it was tough cueing there from Chris. Don't think he was after the double kiss like that. I can't imagine he was.
No, I must have been playing the pot. Oh, that's not worked. That could not have gone worse for Luke. Use the one in the middle rather than the one to the bottom corner, because it allowed him to get into him in a better way, or he felt it did. But all three at the bottom are now awkward.
God, what a shot.
Oh, he's very unlucky if he can't see the yellow to bottom right. No, he's okay. Just from the overhead, I thought for a second he might not be able to see it. He can. It's not a good angle to be able to get on the other one at the bottom end of the table.
He's cushion first here. Played that well.
Looked like he could see enough of that just to play it straight, but excellent shot the way he played it.
Yeah, made it look very easy, didn't he? It wasn't. Well, what's he mapping out for us here then?
Well, I think the 3-ball plant's on. Yellow's far enough in. Just got to make sure the yellow you're playing comes out, and it has, and it's come out really nicely.
Oh.
Just rolled that roll too far. Getting on the one at the bottom now is tough.
Needs to pop this thin. Oh, went the other way, just accepted it's the left middle.
Extension pulled.
This is tough.
Oh, very good. Very impressive. Obviously still needs to make this 8-ball, but if he gets out from where he was, very impressive indeed.
We got a match on our hands, folks. We've got a match on our hands. 3-2, Luke Gilbert has the next break. 3 minutes and 45 remaining. Any mistakes from here will give Chris the match. Needs a ball, will not get one, and he is unlucky not to. Such a frustrating life, the life of a pool player at times.
Yeah, and the break. It's just every pool player just feels that pain on the break.
Red Bull's in play.
And when he needed it most, it lets him down. He didn't do anything wrong. Struck them nicely. Look at all the balls on the top half of the table. Look at the split.
Yeah, the split's a good one. Everything has its pocket, just connecting them up. Looks like he could top through past the 2 yellows. If he's going into them, it might be awkward, in which case he might, assuming he was going to play the one to the top left, but maybe he doesn't like the angle on it, so he's going to come back round to it. What's the angle like this time? Much the same.
I think it's just about exactly the same. He might even just come back a couple of inches here and
Yeah,
hit the gap.
I'm sure he wanted to be with an angle where he could top on and off the left-hand side cushion past those 2 yellows onto one on the top cushion. Didn't quite get it, but he's picked the gap instead. You really have to raise the butt of the cue here or play into the one on the top cushion. Played for it, but he thought he was getting a half-ball kiss, not the full-ball kiss.
Oh, this is tough now.
Huge moments, isn't it? Well, just under 2 minutes on the clock. Luke Gilbert now has an opportunity to make it all square.
Yeah, tough double that to the middle. Doesn't make it, and now then. Now then. Lightning Luke Gilbert with a chance to level things up. Less than 2 to play. That'll do.
Do you play the plant now? You could probably play it as a 2-way shot as well, just in case you miss the plant. There should be a snooker on the reds. Exactly what he's done. That's excellent. what do you do here if you're Luke? Do you use the full 15 and basically make sure that Chris can't make the break clearance and basically say it has to be a golden break or we're going to have a draw? He's not playing the clock at all.
Ooh, got away with that a little bit. So just has a little look at that match scoreboard. And now wants to use as much as possible.
Should call his extension as well.
Yeah, he did have one.
Yeah.
Chris crunches it, 8 balls in motion. It's going to stay up. And Luke Gilbert has 17 seconds. And there's the answer.
Great reaction.
And the two of them shake hands. That'll do us. So it ends 3-3 between Luke Gilbert and Chris Melling. Honours even.
That keeps the group very tight and interesting. Chris Melling straight back in action against Gary Clarke, who still has his own hopes of qualifying. Chris won the opening frame after Gary failed to counter clear. Gary now has the break in frame 2.
Chris Melling's very good at that. Whatever happens in frames, you very rarely see any reaction in his chair. He might show something straight after his shot, but just gets on with business after that.
That's pull. That is pull. If you throw away a frame like Gary Clarke has just done there, you know that you are very liable to go in off on the next break.
And straight in off as well. And that reaction is one of those like, yeah, I've seen this script before.
It is amazing how much that happens. So cue ball behind the line for Chris Melling, and he can get to work on yellows.
Okay, does he need to move the yellow by the red, or just does he accept it is where it is and drop it in the right centre or take it long? Could move it. Could move it from where he is now. I think the yellow below the 8 ball goes left centre, so a delicate cannon on the red would be nice. Oh, or hit the gap. That's not nice.
Oh, he's lucky to still be at the table. He can reroute here. He's still got a good chance of an out, but he got away with one there. I don't think he can believe he hit the gap.
Yeah, any contact on the yellow there and he would have been fine. If it spins up the table, it's good because it opens up the yellow to the bottom right-hand corner. I thought he was actually going to play it slow. The reason I said a delicate cannon on the red, I thought he'd play it slower and allow the spin to take more. But still got a chance of an out. Could play the cannon here. Could have done with missing the 8 ball altogether. If it slides through the gap that time, it's fine because he can take it to either the right corner or the right centre. It would have been delicate in the right centre, but it would have been on. But the 8 ball's now gone in front of the yellow to the left centre, making things so much worse.
And we know he'll continue to dig.
Oh, yeah. Very good pot. I mean, yeah, confused reaction. I'm slightly surprised. Maybe he was trying to, was he trying to cannon it, or was he trying to get lower so he could play a double maybe?
Is he still on the double? He was. Oh, he was.
Position's overrated, Chris. Just keep digging. It's incredible.
Chris Melling is finding a way to dig up. One more swing of the shovel. Never in doubt. What a visit to the table this is. Oh, you could just sit and watch Chris Melling all day long.
Chris made a break clearance to go 3-0 in front. Gary Clarke did respond with a break clearance of his own to get on the board. Chris now has the break at 3-1 in front.
Well, he's done his bit. He now needs some help from Chris Melling if he continues the comeback.
So the cogs start to turn.
Yeah, it's not opened up as a big split at all. You make a case for reds here. You don't need to do too much because all the reds go without any movement, without any cannons. And then you've got the double on the 8-ball, but he also could play a cannon on the 8-ball and try and break it out.
15 seconds a shot now as well for this section of the match, which will help Gary Clarke, who needs to rattle off quick frames. It hinders a tricky frame like this. You have not got long to figure it out. Fortunately for Chris Melling, he's probably got the quickest brain in the game. I think you can argue until the cows come home as to who the player is with the best or the most perfect or the more pristine patterns, but I don't think there's anyone who sees them quicker.
No, great shot as well there.
Wow.
Well, if you can't see the one to the bottom left-hand corner, it's just a little awkward now.
Only a little.
Yeah, that is perfect. He's got just enough angle to screw back, I think, to get on the red on the cushion. Oh, how'd you hit that gap? I'm not sure if he needed to play the cannon into the 8-ball, but he has completely missed it, meaning he's snookered. So 3 minutes left here. Keep the cue chalked, Gary. I know Chris is a magician, but there will be some shot here to continue this visit.
Oh, what an effort. Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness me. The magician pulls one of his biggest rabbits out of his hat that he's ever pulled. That was something a little bit special from Chris Melling. 4-1 win.
On to our final match. Luke Gilbert needs to win to take us to a 6-red shootout, but it was Cleeve Thompson that won a scrappy opening frame. Luke now has the break in frame 2.
Yeah, to be honest, I'd go back to the choice before that. Just flick off, play safe. Cleve's got nothing he can do, and then next time you should have a better opportunity. Nothing that says you have to counter clear straight away. You bide your time, wait for the better opportunity. It was never going to be guaranteed.
Oh, that's a hammer of a break from Luke Gilbert. He's not been rewarded with a particularly kind split. There's work to be done here.
Yeah, and that clock will look like it's going in double time for Luke Gilbert as well. He would be in a world of hurt if he loses this frame, and this is not a nice layout for him. Okay, that's a good shot. Means he can pot the one he's next to, or the one below where he is, and go into the bad yellow, or one of the two bad yellows.
Ah, that's brilliant for Luke. Really, really good.
So he wants to try and get across onto the one on the right-hand side, ideally whilst leaving the one on the left-hand side by the left centre pocket as your last ball, because that connects to the 8-ball. So this is actually a key shot. And needs a good angle here. If he's just short of straight, I think he can just come straight back up the table. Short. Long way short. May go for the double now. Does it double in the corner where he can hold the white? Or is the double in the corner taking the white up the table? Yeah, to make the double on the yellow, the cue ball would have finished a good foot higher up the table, and then it would have been potentially bringing those reds into blocking himself on the yellow to left centre. So really disappointing visit for Luke Gilbert after playing the breakout shot. He'd have fancied the job of getting out there.
Yeah, it was far from an easy clearance. But Luke falters. Can Cleeve capitalise? Because 2-0 all of a sudden is throwing a fairly large cat in and amongst the proverbial pigeons.
Well, that's not the best of positional shots that Cleeve's ever played. The line was good, but he's a long way short for me. Two together on the left-hand side, the right-hand one of the two. If he had landed nearly straight on that, it would have been absolutely perfect. And now he has to make a big shot here.
Tough shot. And hope for Luke Gilbert. Oh, that could be an enormous shot in the context of this night.
Yeah, that's a massive moment, isn't it? Cleeve will feel like he really should have got out there. But now I hope that Chris Melling's not watching, because he might have thought he could get away with not playing a 6-thread shootout. Now the 6-thread shootout feels very much back on.
Switching plenty up. 8 balls moving. That was
the
tracking.
yellow got in the way.
He knows.
May not have quite had enough juice to reach, but oh, what a little kiss on the yellow. Would it have reached? Probably.
Yeah, I think it
not.
was.
You think it would?
Yeah, all day. That was close.
It really was, but it's going to be Luke Gilbert with the opportunity. Can he finally stamp his authority on this match? He's been, oh, let's be honest, he's been poor in the opening 2 frames. I'm a big fan of Luke Gilbert in his game, but pressure on him in this match, and hasn't played a good one so far.
Tell you what, with the addition of the old jester, that first Pro Series weekend in Blackpool is starting to look even tastier.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's only a couple of weeks away, a week and a half away. Action comes thick and fast with Ultimate Pool.
Yeah, the 3 marks making them move from the snooker world. Williams, Allen, Selby.
Yeah, six now, professional snooker players, I think.
Hey, you put me on the spot here. Maybe 7.
Might be 7.
Enough.
I love, but yeah.
It's a mini invasion, and it's going to be fascinating to see how they get on.
Good visit to the table, this one from Luke Gilbert.
Yeah, very, very good indeed. Needed this. Lovely jubbly.
Luke won a scrappy 4th frame to move 3-1 ahead. Cleeve did pull one back in the next with a break clearance, but with the clock running out in the next frame, it handed victory to Luke Gilbert and takes us to a 6-red shootout.
6 reds to go. Quickest time wins. Cue ball and object ball must be stationary, and that's a nice break.
Perfect break. Opportunity to fly here and put Chris Melling under massive pressure, but that's a big miss. And it's gone awkward. This is going to get away from him quickly here.
Can he recover?
Still go sub 30 if he flies.
Not bad. Considering the start, it's not a bad recovery. Chris Melling will feel that is right within his wheelhouse.
He's got to wait a while here. It's not the best of breaks. But he knows 6 clean pots wins from here.
Yeah, he's flying. Considering the break, this is going to be a very, very quick time. Chris Melling ends up in the next stage of the Champions League. Luke Gilbert eliminated.
The former champion Chris Melling is the first man through to the 2nd stage of the Champions League. You can watch this whole night back by going onto the Ultimate Pool app or ultimatepool.tv. Or if you're looking forward to next week, then you do not need to wait very long. Monday the 9th of January at 6:30 on Ultimate Pool TV and the Ultimate Pool app and Viaplay for Group 2. Stephen Maguire, the snooker star, makes his Ultimate Pool debut. Up against him, Ultimate Pool professionals Neil Raybone, Arfan Dad and Jez Graham complete the lineup for Group 2 of Ultimate Pool Champions League.